Chapter 1, Siri, Find Me a Mammoth. The sun had barely risen over the craggy cliffs when Gruck, proud hunter of the Rock Smash tribe, stood at the mouth of his cave, squinting at something far more mysterious than fire or the wheel, an iPhone 15 Pro Max. Nobody knew where it came from. One morning, it was just there, lying next to a pile of mammoth dung and a half-eaten pine cone. The tribe's shaman thought it was a magical stone gifted by the sky spirits. Gruck just liked the shiny screen. By day 3, Gruck had figured out how to swipe. By day 4, he was addicted to Fruit Ninja and thought it was a real hunting simulator. But on day 5, something incredible happened. Siri, Gruck grunted, holding the phone up like a sacred idol, where Mammoth? Siri chimed, calm and collected. I've found 3 nearby mammoth herds within a 2-mile radius. Would you like walking directions? Gruck screamed, not in fear, in joy. For the first time in prehistoric history, hunting was efficient. Tracking the beast. With the phone balanced on a spear, duct tape hadn't been invented yet. They used tree sap and hope. Gruck and his fellow hunters followed the glowing blue dot on the map. No more guessing, no more wandering the tundra sniffing dung. It was glorious. They even used the camera to record mammoth tracks and compare them with Pinterest photos of mammoth footprints. One hunter, Blorg, tried to FaceTime with a reindeer. It ended poorly. Gruck quickly became the tribe's official food app. Want berries? Google Lens. Curious if that mushroom is poisonous? There's an app for that. Though sometimes it lagged, reception in the Ice Age was terrible. The tribe built a 20-foot rock tower thinking it would boost signal. It did not. But they kept it anyway. For aesthetic. Minor setbacks. There were problems, of course. Gruck once dropped the iPhone in a tar pit. Tragic. The tribe held a funeral. Another time, Siri misunderstood Find Mammoth and played Mambo No. 5 instead. The hunters danced for 3 hours. Chapter 2, Tools, Tech, and Totally Confused Cavemen. You'd think the discovery of fire was the greatest moment in human history. Nope. It was the day Drock smashed an iPhone against a rock and accidentally invented the world's most expensive hammer. Let me explain. After the iPhone mysteriously showed up in the Rock Smash tribe, still no clue how, a strange thing happened. Some cavemen learned how to use it. Others just used it to hit things. Gruck, the curious one, became the tribe's unofficial tech wizard. He watched toolmaking videos on YouTube, zoomed in on obsidian blade tutorials, and once tried to order next-day delivery on elk sinew. Didn't go well, he got a confused bear instead. Meanwhile, Drock thought the iPhone was a magical flat rock with inner demons. So, naturally, he used it to hammer sharp bones into sticks. And to be fair, it worked until the screen shattered and he blamed it on evil spirits. Caveman Innovation, version 2.0. Thanks to Gruck and Siri, toolmaking reached a whole new level. Axes had ergonomic grips, inspired by Instagram ads. Spears were balanced using a digital spirit level app. One guy, Hyanga, tried to carve a wrench out of a tusk because he saw one on Pinterest and thought it looked futuristic. They even tried voice-activated crafting. Gruck, Siri, sharpen my knife. Siri, sorry, I can't help with that. But here's a list of nearby blacksmiths. Blacksmiths hadn't been invented yet. Gruck cried a little. Confusion ensues. Drock, frustrated by the lack of pointy things on the screen, yelled tool. Every time he hit something with the iPhone, it became his battle cry. Eventually, the tribe split into 2 factions. The Tap tribe, who used the iPhone for tool design, planning, and sketching prototypes on notes. The Smash clan, who preferred to treat it as a shiny, oddly breakable rock. Tensions rose when someone tried to download a flint napping simulator and ended up crashing the only iPhone they had. Anga held a tribal meeting. Maybe we ask it nicely next time? Lessons in progress. Yes, some thought the iPhone was cursed. Yes, others thought it whispered secrets at night. It was just low battery beeping. But little by little, the smarter ones started documenting tool designs in photos, creating folders named things like Spear 2.0 and Not a Toothbrush. And by the end of the season, they had the sharpest, most advanced, weirdly symmetrical weapons in all of prehistory. Chapter 3, Fire, Phones, and Flaming Failures. It was cold. Not grab a sweater cold, more like why does my soul hurt kind of Ice Age cold. The Rock Smash tribe huddled together in the cave, shivering, sneezing, and seriously rethinking their life choices. But hope was not lost, because Gruck had an iPhone, and he had just Googled how to make fire without dying. Gruck versus the cold. Gruck had been experimenting for days. He'd watched dozens of YouTube tutorials with titles like Top 5 Ways to Start Fire with Rocks, Caveman Fire Hacks You Won't Believe, Primitive Man Reacts to Modern Lighter, Emotional, And now, standing in the middle of the cave, Gruck held 2 dry sticks, rubbing them just like the video showed. The tribe stared in awe. Sparks flew, smoke curled, and then, fire! Behold! Gruck shouted. I call it, hot light no touchy. Applause, screams, someone fainted. The shaman wept silently. Gruck opened his notes app and proudly typed, Step 1. Rub fast. Step 2. Don't die. On the other side of the cave, Gruck's less tech-savvy cousin, had different plans. He stared at his iPhone, then at a pile of logs, then back at the iPhone. Maybe, if hit phone with rock, it'd make fire? He whispered. The tribe yelled new in slow motion, but it was too late. Druck smashed the iPhone on the logs like he was summoning Thor himself. The screen cracked, sparks flew, but not the good kind, the battery kind. The iPhone hissed, smoked, and then caught fire. Ha! See? Phone make fire. Druck cheered. His eyebrows were gone. His loincloth was slightly smoldering. The tribe gave him a new name, Bernie. Technically speaking, Druck had stumbled into a real phenomenon. Lithium-ion batteries can catch fire when damaged. But was it smart? No. Was it safe? Absolutely not. Was it kind of hilarious? Definitely yes. Meanwhile, Gruck refined his methods using the phone's flashlight for night work, the compass app to find drywood zones, and Siri to ask weirdly specific questions like, what's the best moss for kindling? How to keep fire going during Mammoth Stampede? Fire recipes for gluten-free berries? Thanks to Gruck, fire became a normal part of daily life, warmth, cooking, safety. Thanks to Druck, the tribe also discovered the smell of burning plastic and learned what not to do with rare technology. The 2 cousins were hailed as heroes, one for progress, the other for comedic relief. Balance was restored. Chapter 4, Shelter Hacks and Stone Age Interior Design. Winter was coming. Again, which meant one thing for the Rock Smash tribe, time to fix the cave before it started snowing inside again. Last year's roof, a pile of damp leaves and an angry bird, hadn't worked out, but this year, they had an iPhone. Or at least, Gruck did. While the rest of the tribe argued over who was in charge of rock stacking, Gruck sat quietly in the corner, phone in hand, watching a video called 10 Modern Cabin Ideas to Survive in Style, Ice Age Edition. He used the Measure app to check the size of the cave opening, used Pinterest to make a caveman cozy mood board, even asked Siri, how do I make cave windproof but still dramatic? Siri replied, try mammoth hide curtains and rock-based insulation. Gruck gasped. Genius. Soon, he had diagrams sketched in notes, a materials checklist in reminders, and a full virtual model built in some AR app he didn't fully understand but pretended to. The tribe was impressed. One elder called it the first open concept, naturally ventilated, mammoth-safe shelter in tribal history. Across the hill, Druck was also building a shelter. Well, trying to. He had an iPhone too, or at least what was left of it after he used it to hammer mammoth poop into floor tiles. Don't ask. Druck had his own method. Step 1. Stack rocks randomly. Step 2. Pray the wind forgets he exists. Step 3. Tape a cracked iPhone to the wall for modern vibes. At one point, Druck shouted, Siri, build house. Siri replied, sorry, I can't help with that. So Druck threw the phone at a wall and yelled, now it's part of the house. Fair enough. Gruck's shelter? Stable, waterproof, decorated with bear skulls arranged by mood. He even installed a natural light system, which was just a skylight, but he felt fancy calling it that. Druck's shelter? Collapsed twice, once because he used wet sticks, and once because he tried to build it with the power of belief. One night, during a storm, Druck's entire wall flew off. He blamed ghosts. Gruck blamed poor structural planning. The shaman blamed both, and cursed Druck with eternal draftiness. To be fair, Gruck was basically doing early engineering, using diagrams, testing materials, making data-driven decisions, with slightly magical help from Siri. Druck, however, was proving Newton's laws of motion, mostly by having buildings fall on his head. Chapter 5, Cave Art, iPhones and the First Digital Gallery. Long before museums, galleries, or NFTs, cavemen told their stories the old-fashioned way, by smearing berries in charcoal on cave walls and hoping it didn't wash off during mammoth season. But this time, things were different. This time, they had an iPhone. Gruck had always liked drawing. As a child, he once carved a stick figure mammoth into a tree and claimed it was abstract. Now, with the help of his iPhone, his art reached a whole new level. He opened the camera, snapped a photo of a real mammoth, and traced it onto the wall with a mix of crushed berries and goat fat. He experimented with the flashlight to cast dramatic shadows, time-lapse mode to record his cave art process, augmented reality apps to preview how a saber-toothed tiger mural would look above the fire pit. He even tried filters. Gruk's favorite was sepia, because it made everything look mysteriously old, which, to be fair, everything already was. Drak also wanted to make cave art. He didn't understand filters, AR, or lighting. He just knew he wanted to draw Big Goat, with angry eyes. He dipped the broken corner of his iPhone into a puddle of berry juice, then started smearing it across the wall. The iPhone was not pleased. It beeped, then sparked, then smoked. Ah, Drak nodded proudly. Interactive painting. Gruk's side of the cave became a full-on prehistoric Louvre, detailed mammoths, hunting scenes, one controversial mural titled, Man vs. Fire, a metaphor, but Drak's side? Mostly blobs. One was supposed to be a deer. It looked like a potato with legs. Another was a family portrait that included 5 stick figures, a very confused tree, and a suspiciously large butt. When asked what it meant, Drak replied, feelings. Gruk had accidentally tapped into something real, digital reference. Using the iPhone, he studied animal anatomy, movement, even perspective. In essence, he was combining modern tech with primitive expression. Drak, however, was mostly just finger painting. And once used the Notes app to draw with his fingernail, then claimed it was encrypted wisdom. The shaman called it a spiritual glitch. Soon, other tribes visited to see the rock smash cave art. Gruk gave tours. This one is called Running Mammoth in Wind. That one is Fire good, Bears bad. Drak gave interpretive dances. No one knew why.